Hello everybody, how are you going? I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day or night, wherever you're at. The new year is upon us, depending on when I've decided to release this video. I'm not fucking quite sure with that, but bear with me. I'm trialing something new here. This has been inspired by all the recent award show and how do we say, how monopolized and corporatized is, I don't even know if that's a word. It could be, I don't know, but you know what I'm getting at, and it's kind of pissed me off a little bit to the point where I'm like, you know what? Fuck that, fuck them. I'm going to birth something new into creation, and it is called the Bedlams. I know I'm not 100% sold on that either, but the tagline is the better award show. No bullshit, less ads until I get sponsored, but there'll be good ads and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So this is essentially my Bedlam and Squalor award show for the year. I've got a few categories. I've actually got quite a few categories. It's not just going to be gaming. It's going to be pretty much anything that I think is really, really cool. Disclaimer, this is my opinion. So there might be some things that you disagree with, and that's totally cool. That is no worries at all. That's part of having an opinion. But I really think there were some games that need to be mentioned. There's some gaming news that needs to be mentioned. So welcome, get some popcorn, get a plate of food, do something, get comfy to the Bedlams. Now, this is an award show celebrating all the cool shit that I've found in gaming, news, pop culture, figures throughout the entire year. Now, this isn't limited to consoles. This isn't limited. This could be anything from a PS1 game to a PS2 game. It doesn't really matter. It's just anything that I've really, really enjoyed or given me the feeling of like, this is fucking awesome. All right, so categories, and I'm not going to worry about nominations and shit because I've already selected them. So I'm just going to tell you what the categories are, and I'm going to tell you what the winner is. And there might be some surprises. We're just going to get right into it and segue into the fucking categories, right? So the first one is games or game that blew my socks off. Now, this is Metal Gear Solid 1, hands down. Now, everyone's like, yeah, we know it's an amazing game, but I to be honest, full disclosure, I had never played it. I never actually played for a PS1 game how far ahead of its time it is, how amazing the gameplay is. It blew my mind. It was so cool, and I highly recommend it. Now that it's a lot more accessible, you're not going to have to go and buy like a PS1, PS2 and get all that shit up and running. Link in the video if you want to find out if a PS2 game is worth it in 2023. It is. But what I'm getting at is it's a lot more accessible now that I know everyone hates Konami, but they delivered a great package in my opinion. I think we need to cut them some slack, and which is going to be quite controversial, and it's for a reason. So blew my socks off, Metal Gear Solid 1, right? Cool. Now, the next one, best retro game of the year. Now, I may have done a typo here, but I'm giving you a little bit of a carrot. I was going to say candle, but you know what I mean. But best retro game of the year. Now, there's no rules to this. It could be one, it could be two, it's whatever the fuck I want to do. This is the Bedlams, and you fucking woohoo! It's a fucking wild, wild west out here. Now, next one is a game that I got for $3, which is WWE Smackdown Vs Raw. I love the game. It is so much fun. It doesn't look the best, but it plays really well. So much fun. The gameplay loop is just on point. I really, really struggled to put it down. And after that, I actually jumped into like a whole deep dive of like wrestling. I watched 90s era wrestling, which I hadn't seen before. So do yourself a favor and check that out because that's really cool too. Another one, which is a game that really kind of, I played it, but it took me a lot longer to actually appreciate, is Fallout New Vegas. I've sunk close to 100 hours in that this year, and it is amazing. Like, again, the aesthetic, and it's actually got me into a whole new genre of music. And not to mention the DLC is some of the most cooked DLC I've ever played. And the side missions. There's a side mission where you essentially you're a pimp, and you have to find a sex robot, which turns out to be named Fisto. So yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, fucking awesome. Moving on to the next category, which is most hours spent. Now, this is just doing random shit. This could be anything. I'm still working the little kinks out with all this shit. Actually, I think I've got this the wrong way. So I was painting Warhammer and Fallout New Vegas and drumming. I guess that's pretty much the name of the channel, right? So self-explanatory, most hours spent, all that kind of fun shit. Now, the next one, which is most hyped for 2024. Now, I really tried to distill what I'm genuinely hyped for and what you guys should be checking out. So first and foremost, Space Marine 2. And the next one So if you saw my reaction to the Game Awards, which kind of birthed or was an inspiration for this video, is Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 4 or Dragon Ball Sparking Hero, which was like, holy fuck. So that's a huge win. I am nothing but excited for it because one, they dropped gameplay. Two, I love Bandai Namco because they're really one of the kind of old school companies whenever they drop news or whenever they say they're going to announce something or whatever they're going to do, any project they're involved with, you know it's going to be quality, which is like The next one that I'm most hyped for is Blade. I saw the trailer. This is like with a big asterisk, is tentative. I believe that it's got a great team working behind it. I think it's the team behind the arcade games, like the Dishonored games. I like that it's set in Paris. No one's ever going to replace Wesley Snipes. Like, it would be a dream of mine if they actually had him do the voiceover, but that's not going to happen. Like, let's be honest, you know, I would love it. I have nothing but respect for it, and I'm so fucking hyped for that. All right, next one is like gaming news. There's a couple of points here, and you're gonna have to bear with me as well. So I've got notes here. I want to do shout outs to awesome devs and their team. All right, so shout out to a big one is Hexworks, Lords of the Fallen. I don't know why no one's talking about this game, because this is a fucking amazing game, and we're gonna get a little bit more into that later, so stick around. I don't know if Soulsborne and all that stuff, but trust me, it's awesome. All right, now this is where we start to get a little bit controversial, and I've titled this Falls from Grace / overrated to shit, right? Now, first and foremost is the Ubisoft Skull and Bones thing. Like, I don't know if you've been following the drama with that kind of stuff. Sorry, they've announced a date for it. My hopes have gone from up here for being like essentially a Black Flag 2 to something I think they have to get out because they just want to get rid of it. I hope I eat my words, and it is really good. I doubt it. I think it's going to be bare minimum at best. Another one is Rocksteady. I am so frustrated with the Suicide Squad and the state of it. And like, it was already a hard sell to me anyway. I don't get the Suicide Squad. It's not something that I think. It's just, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't get it. And the fact that the more and more that we've heard about what's going on with it, you know, how they review copies or development copies to some YouTubers, and essentially they started to pick up on the fact that, you know, it's a loot and shooter, or shooter, whatever you call it. They've tried to change the marketing around, but you know, it's like, it's there, like battle passes, season passes, paying for costumes, like everything screams, let's milk the fans, which is, I really hope not, because it's one of the last, I think it's the last vocal performance from Kevin Conroy. So that's why I'm really kind of focusing in on this one. And if they don't do it justice, pun intended, I just think it's bullshit. And there's a few things that, like, I just go, it just makes me roll my eyes. I'm like, anyway, that's a big one underlined. And the next one is Starfield. Fuck Starfield. Like, I put like over 16 hours into that game, and it's barely a game. It's like, I really struggled with it, and I know everyone's entitled to their opinion, and awesome if you've enjoyed it, but it just made me want to go back and play Fallout New Vegas. And then people are going to say, oh, you were playing it at the same time. Like, no, I actually stopped playing Fallout New Vegas, and I think I was playing like Sea of Thieves. So there was a long enough gap there where I had like a palate cleanser, and I was ready and I was hyped for it. And I tried, man. And it was just, didn't do it for me. And in my opinion, it was like almost insulting. Like, and then the fact how they've responded as well, like, with Bethesda, I think. And then the next categories, I know I'm going on. The next category is overrated to shit. Alan Wake 2. Don't get it. Think it's a big, it just doesn't do anything for me. I think there was a few problems with that. I don't understand how it got nominated for what it did. It's just, in my opinion, it's not something that I'll play, not something that I think I'd enjoy. So I'm not going to go too much into that, because this goes into our more positive aspect, and it's coming into our things of the year. Now, there could be a couple of things, and there will be game of the year. Don't worry about that. What I'm getting at is I want to just anything cool, right? Anything cool. So we're going to start off with book of the year. Now, it's like, what, you read? I can barely read, yes, but it's going to be a bit of a central theme here too, is the Warhammer 40k book. Was it Dark Imperium was Dark Imperium? So Dark Imperium, Godblight. That was my first kind of entry into the Warhammer series. Outside of playing, a couple of the video games, I don't even think I bought any minis at that stage. I just picked it up, and boy, what a fucking book. It's essentially everything about that I love about the 40k universe encapsulated into a book. Next one is 6-inch figure of the year, which is the is Kazuya. There's a Kazuya, and you pay about, I don't know, you probably pay about $40 for it, but it is a kick-ass figure. You get, like, it's fully adjustable, just because, I don't know if you can see it, but you get all the extra shit with it. You can see the ring light there, and you get like the round one, you get some energy shit. It's super posable. It feels like it's good quality. It's like, I mean, for $40, like, that's awesome, because normally you'd be paying close to 60 for something. Warhammer 40k figure of the year. This one, well, I had to actually think long and hard about it, because I've thoroughly enjoyed taking the leap into Warhammer 40k, and I'm still learning. But for me, the biggest one was Castellian Crow. He was the first Grey Knight that I actually had the courage to try and paint. He was the first one where I actually had to step my painting up, my game for painting, if that makes sense. And there was a lot of challenges with it. There was a lot of mistakes that I made, but I think it worked out really well. I hopefully I can get some good footage and I can pop it here. It's not finished yet, but it's damn close. And for where I was, like, skill level wise at the time, I think I did a good job with it. I really like it, and I'm always continuing to grow with painting, because it is something that is pretty much therapeutic. Now, this brings me on to the game of the year. Now, this is going to be a controversial one, because I've got a couple of them. Lords of the Fallen. I don't know why no one's talking about this game. This game is really cool. Gameplay wise, I put it up there on par with FromSoft, and I've played every FromSoft game. I've sunk over 200 hours into Elden Ring. It is just amazing. And look, it started off rough. It did. There was a few things that were off. The timing was off. The dodge was off a little bit, but they've continued to update it. They've continued to make it run better. There was a point where the animations would start to stagger, but they've fixed a lot of it. Really cool. The multiplayer is seamless. It is now. The story, I will 100% admit, is nowhere near on the same level as a FromSoft game, but they've given it a red hot crack. I really like the art direction from it. I think they've done some really cool, innovative things with the two worlds, how you can jump between them seamlessly. And the whole thing with the lamp is not just a gimmick, which I kind of thought, like, you'd use it at the start of the game, but after that you just no. This thing, this lamp usage they've incorporated throughout the entire game, and I'm 50 hours into it and I'm still enjoying it. And it's only like after that I'm like, oh, I get it now. This is really cool. This is different. This is what annoys me, is like, this, why wasn't this even nominated for in any category for Game of the Year? I think I know why, but I'm not gonna say it. But like, at least this should have, like, been up there for best art direction, hands down. Oh, now, brand of the year, which is the next, I don't even know if this is the right title, but the Grey Knights and the Ultramarines, because they're cool as fuck. That's the notes I've got here, and I'm gonna stay by that because I love them. I'm totally just like fanboying, complete transparency with that. But I just wanted to just be like, that's some cool shit that I'm kind of going into now. There's a couple of mentions I do want to talk about. So if you've got this far, thank you. It means a lot. I'm still kind of like developing my content, and if there's any feedback that you guys can give, let me know. I am always down to learn and grow. Anyway, this is the Bedlams. Yeah, this is fucking a bit alternative, a bit left of center from the Game Awards, or this from any awards show. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. This is a really new concept, and I am going to tweak it and kind of expand on it. Let me know if there's anything I've missed, or what are your games of the year. I have left out a few, and some of them purposely so. But thank you for making it this far into the video. Thank you for going on this journey with me, because this is, I'll be completely honest, sometimes it is a bit tough doing this YouTube stuff. It's just, I just want to do content that I'm passionate about, that you guys get enjoyment, and hopefully a slightly different perspective. And I know I ramble and shit, so thank you. And until next time, guys, make sure you have a wonderful day or night. Peace, peace. I'm out. Much love.